on a busy afternoon as we kick off the Major League Baseball season. It's good to have you aboard as we talk to you about what's going on as far as the world of sports is concerned. We're all laughing at Kyle Schwarber, that in a minute. Colin Schmeling and Eddie Erickson and Billy Z. We take you home here as we begin a broadcast day on the great SiriusXM 82. You know your two-way sports talk telephone number? 1-800, was it 188 Mad Dog 6? Is that what it is? I forget. 888 Mad Dog 6. There you go. And obviously, we take you until 6 o'clock. Steve Phillips a little bit later on. Phone calls here today, too. As we get you set for what is going to be, hopefully, a fun season in Major League Baseball. And, you know, there's not many festive moments, and I know if you live in the middle of nowhere, you might not feel this way, or if you're in Alabama, or if you're living in, and not that that's the middle of nowhere, you may not feel this way in Tuscaloosa or Tallahassee or Austin, Texas. I get that, no teams, but this has always been, to me, a phenomenal sports day. Now, it used to be where it was the championship game at night with the baseball in the afternoon. That's changed, but this has always been, to me, you know, for a variety of reasons. Opening day in baseball, and you like to have a little better weather, but opening day in baseball, to me, has always been really one of the great days in sport in the course of the professional year. There's a lot of good days, but this day, for whatever the reason, maybe the advent of spring and a little warmer weather, a new season, the thrills of 162 games, having a game every night, whatever it might be. The fact that, you know you're going to be sitting there if your favorite team is in the mix. You got something to root for really until late September. The other sports don't provide this. NBA, there's nothing to their opening night. Nobody cares. The NHL, obviously. I mean, the NFL, all right, a little bit there on that first Sunday of the year, but they spread it out with the Thursday night game, and it's in the middle of September. There's a lot of other sports going on. Maybe because it's the end of the winter and where I live. Maybe it's because I've always been such a huge Giant fan compared to a fan of a particular team in another sport. Maybe it's the bunting, simple as that, on the facades around Major League Baseball. It's the 50,000 every game, whatever it might be. To me, opening day is still really one of the great days of the year. When you're doing a sports talk show and you are doing sports. Now, again, we all know where baseball stands. We all know that, baseball has had a tough time keeping up with the 21st century, with the new way that fans go about looking and viewing sports, and the younger audience being a little bored with their instant gratification desire, and maybe being a little bored with baseball on a day-in, day-out basis. It's a lot of games. And remember, I always say this, they start the season before the Final Four, and they're going to end it when the next college basketball season is, underway. So, I mean, just think about it from that perspective. I mean, they start it and it's snow on the ground, and they're going to end it with snow on the ground. I mean, it really is a long haul, and they try to extend it this year an extra 4 days, give the players a little break. But no matter how you do it, it's 162 games, and 162 games is, it's double what they do in the NBA and the NHL. You got to play 10 baseball games to equal one football game. I mean, it's, you can get lost in it, and it's going to bore you eventually. And it's going to come a time in the season where it feels dull, stale, old, prolonged, you name it. It's going to come that time for every team, even a great team. Yeah, there's going to look at the Dodgers last year. They won 100 and whatever they won, and then they lost 16 of 17 there late in the year after they won 52-9. So there is going to come a time where they're going to lose interest. But right now, and I think really for the first 2-3 weeks of the season, I've always liked April baseball because of the promise that it brings. There is nothing better than this, having a bunch of games today, with all the mascots and all the bunting and all the introductions of the lineups along the first and third base lines. I've always gotten a kick out of that. It's a special day. I got a lot of people asking for tickets, whether it's the Yankee home opener on Monday, whether it was the Cardinal Met game today, and whatever it might be. There's just a special feel to a start of a baseball season, and I feel that way today. I mean, I'm not nearly as Giant fan as I was, say even as early as 8-9 years ago. In 2000, before 2010, I'd be the first to admit that I've lost a lot of that passion that I had on a game-by-game basis. I can't remember the last time I stayed up to 3 o'clock in the morning to watch a Giant baseball game in the course of a year. I haven't done that. I used to do that every time, every pitch. I have not done that. They play tonight at 7:08. I'll try to get into it a little bit on ESPN against LA, and a new broadcasting team and everything else. But, the issue is it's not really about the Giants today. It's about all the other games that are going on in sport today. And it's fun. I mean, the Mets and the Twins and the Orioles and the Yankees and the Blue Jays and a little bit, and the White Sox and Kansas City. And I know that Kansas City is going to be lousy, and I know the Yankees and the Red Sox are going to be on their own in the American League East when it's all said and done. And I know the Marlins stink. I understand that, but and there's empty seats there, by the way, all day. It's the one place. But there's just something about it this day that is really full of promise. And as far as the sports fan is concerned, now listen, I used to love it when in the old days you had the opener on Monday afternoon, Cincinnati early, and then at night the NCAA championship game. Well, they've changed that now. First off, they've changed that in a variety of ways. Baseball, began their seasons at times in Australia, in Puerto Rico, in Japan, so they kind of ruined the feel of opening day. And then other times they have begun, and they've started on ESPN on Sunday night. So baseball is as guilty there as anybody as far as ruining that special feel, having everybody start on the same day. And of course, they're now this year they're starting a week earlier, but as it turns out this year there's no Sunday night game to start the year. There's no Japan trip, there's no Australian trip, there's no Puerto Rican, there's nothing. It's just baseball, but you don't get the championship game tonight because they started here in late March to accommodate the Players Association. So I used to love that day. I used to think that day, baseball all day and then the game at night. That to me, that was a national holiday. I used to think that in sports, that was one of the great sports days of the year. And there are a lot of great sports days of the year. I mean, I love the 4 days of the NFL season in the postseason on that Saturday and Sunday, wild card divisional round. You got to like Championship Sunday. Those are 3 days right there. I mean, I love the first day of the postseason. Really, I love the Friday of the postseason when there's 4 games on that Friday, that first Friday in October, and you have 4 games 2s in one league, and then game 1s in the other league in a best of 5 divisional series. I love that day. You sit there and you watch baseball all day, big games. I love that. I love the start of the NHL playoffs. That's one reason why we do the NHL show on April 11th. We'll do that in a couple of weeks over at the NHL store. And I love those 8 playoff series that they give you in best of 7s. I'm into a degree. I love the NBA. Now, I don't have as much juice for that because the 8 seeds never beaten a 1 seed, but I do. There's a little drama that first weekend in the NBA when they play 4 games on the Saturday and then 4 games on the Sunday. You like the Final 4 day where you have the games this Saturday, one at 6, one at 8:40. I mean, I like that, but I used to love that Monday combination of the baseball and the title game. Now I just have the baseball, and I was into it today. I'll be the first to admit, raring to go. Eddie would be the first to tell you. I was here at 10 o'clock this morning. I did San Francisco radio. I did our buddy Grant last night, Sacramento. I did 2 or 3 stations on Sirius. I'll do Andy Gresh later today. I mean, I was into it. Couldn't wait to get to work. Got up at 6 o'clock. Let's go. I mean, I was surprised. I was surprised. Maybe it's because I've been doing that dopey MLB Network show, and I do about 90 shows in an off season, and those shows are hard. And all of a sudden, I got games to talk about. Maybe that had something to do with it. But when I had Buck Showalter on today at 12:15 from the ballpark cam in Baltimore, with them taking batting practice with the sun out, believe it or not, getting ready for their opener, and the Orioles are going to be bad probably. I was into it. Hey, here we go now. Hope springs eternal. Was into it. And if you're a Met fan today, you like what you see. They've scored a bunch of runs. They've hit the ball well. Gonzalez has a double and a single. I mean, you like a double and a walk. Syndergaard gave up a 2-run homer, but he struck out a million guys. He looked sharp. There's a lot of people there at Citi Field. A lot of Cardinal fans with the red jackets, but a lot of people there at Citi Field. And that's a great ballpark when there's a little activity. And the Mets is a scenario with the Mets. A lot happening today. It's a good sports day. It's opening day on this 29th day of March. We'll take your phone calls when we continue here on Mad Dog.